Here's my question. I want to start with something that this part of the story is not new news. Lawrence Taylor, as we know, legend. I mean, in our childhood,
He's the real LT.
I mean, not only was he epic in real life, I mean, the guy could block extra points in Tecmo Bowl.
By the way, DB, Danny G, Perfett, that was one of the coming-of-age stories in our life when we started to notice that younger generations thought LT meant LaDainian Tomlinson. We're like, hold on. It does not, but to them it did.
I remember
okay.
when LaDainian Tomlinson went to the Jets, we were working at SNY in New York. We were asking people on the streets, yeah, who's LT? And we did like a man on the street thing. Based on age,
It was generational.
people were saying LaDainian, and other people were saying, of course, Lawrence Taylor.
And I believe he was on the cover of Madden and everything at one point, right? So, yeah, the younger kids jumped on that so hard. LT to them is LaDainian Tomlinson.
Well,
But we're talking about Lawrence Taylor. We're talking about dangly earring Lawrence Taylor.
Who did more cocaine in the 80s, him or Keith Hernandez? It's a great New York question.
Definitely Hernandez.
Allegedly.
We're talking number 56 LT.
Now, we know the story of Abdul Carter. Very excited Giants fan base. This guy's going to make a difference in New York, New Jersey. When asked, is it cool if Abdul Carter wears your number 56? Lawrence Taylor was pretty much like, yeah, kick rocks, kid. Get your own legacy, get your own number. And
I actually liked his comment. Wasn't it something about create your own path?
he
Why
didn't.
not?
Yeah, he wasn't rude about it, but
Yo,
it was
dude,
pretty much
I'm
like, no.
56. And in fact, it's insulting to his honor. I think Abdul Carter, hey, I wish him all the best, but I think that's a disrespectful request. Why do you think they retire numbers in the first place? Not so some young jabroni can come out and take it.
You know when this happens at school with your kids or, maybe with neighbors? You know when someone asks you something so ballsy that you're almost taken aback? Like, I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm glad Lawrence Taylor didn't react like, hell, kid, I guess,
the honor that I earned, yeah, you're trying to take it away? How about you beat it? He could have been, in my opinion, should have been a little more rude about it. He said, hey, listen, youngster, create your own path. Get your own number. I don't like it. From the get-go, and I wish nothing but the best to Abdul Carter. I think he overstepped here. I think someone should have told him, like, no, that's Lawrence Taylor. He's a legend. What are you, out of your mind?
Yeah, but then again, I heard Jonas, our coworker on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe, said, hey, is there any harm in asking?
Yes.
Okay, there is.
It actually is a good point, but you'd be surprised as to what you'd get when you ask. That there's truth to that for sure. But you're asking almost to take back an honor. It's like I don't think that's fair at all to Lawrence Taylor or to the organization or anybody.
And Taylor added, he said, I'm hoping that he's not thinking, oh, I just got shot down by LT. No, it's not like that, man. It's, hey, I'm with you. I mean, I'm the guy that I am, and it's going to take two of us here. I'm going to be 2 steps behind you and make sure you don't fall.
Yeah.
So he's saying he's going to be supportive, but just, get your own make your own mark with your own number.
Dude, even in high school, I took my jersey when I left the team. It wasn't retired, obviously, but I'm like, I don't want no one taking my jersey. My jersey, beat it.
Is this guy kidding?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Stole my jersey. And, because in high school, remember back in the day, they just recycled them for the next, 5
So if you
6
took your
years?
jersey, there would be no other than number 16.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, where's the men's large? 16.
Mine. I was like, who's going to stop me? I don't want someone else wearing this. I was the OG original Ocho Cinco.
People don't realize that in the Union Little League in New Jersey, no one can wear COVINO's 23, I'm sorry, how many? 27 Little League home run jersey.
That's right. No one can wear that one, my All-Star jersey. My point is, you're very territorial about your number, especially when you're a legendary guy whose number was retired. They held a ceremony for you. You're a legend in that city. For some, I don't want to say he's a nobody, but he hasn't done anything yet in New York. To ask for that number, that's a bold request.
I mean, listen, one comes to mind for me, and I'm sure, Dan Byer's a man of sports knowledge and history. Can you think of a guy that changed teams and had a pivot other than Joe Montana? Because when Montana went to the Chiefs, I believe Len Dawson was number 16, and then Montana rocked number 19. He didn't say, hey, can you unretire 16?
And that's Joe Montana.
Have there been other guys that you could think of that had a pivot? Like guys who went to the Yankees, A-Rod, number 3, was like, I can't be Babe Ruth, I'll be 13.
I'll answer your question by not answering your question. Remember the old Pro Bowl when you would have guys of the same jersey number that would go to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
You'd have to change numbers at that time. If there were 229s on the field, sorry, Eric Dickerson, you may not have tenure over that person, and you may have to. So in those games, they would make them change. I do remember Peyton Manning did not have to pivot. The Broncos retired Frank Tripucka's number 18. So when Manning went from Indianapolis to Denver, they asked and he allowed him to wear 18. In fact, used it as a way to, hey, if you come here, you can have 18 if you sign with the Broncos.
There you go.
So
there have been a couple times it goes both ways. But here's the update on this story, because that part of the story is not necessarily new. Abdul Carter, if you put your thinking cap on, just Google image him. At Penn State, he wore number 11. I grew up in the 80s in New York. There were a heck of a lot of 11 jerseys because it was that blonde-haired stud who gave COVINO a stink palm handshake one time.
Oh, bro, you're going to bring that up. Let's preface by saying Phil Simms is a New York legend and a hell of a broadcaster, and what a fella. Nice guy. Actually, he was nothing but kind and generous to us the times we've met him.
And?
I'm not saying anything. You brought it up. I just said I want to preface your story.
Phil Simms, number 11, has said, it would be an honor, Abdul Carter, for you to wear my number 11 for the New York Giants. I got you. So it's the other side of things now. Phil Simms saying, I would love this.
I don't have a problem with that. Now, 11 is a storied number at Penn State.
Yep.
It's LeVar Arrington. You just mentioned two pros.
Yeah.
There's the long list of guys who have worn 11, just like 88 is with the Dallas Cowboys. When you wear 88, like Drew Pearson, like Michael Irvin, like Des Bryant, like CeeDee Lamb, there's something to it. Some guys don't rock like that. For Phil Simms to be like, okay, that's cool. I think that's cool of Phil Simms, but it's not like 11 is Abdul Carter's number. That's Penn State All-American linebacker
It's like
number.
Syracuse number 44.
Yes,
44 at the
yes.
Cuse is a big deal.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. So
I see it
I even think
few
that's
ways.
a little weird.
Even though Phil Simms is definitely a legendary guy in New York for the Giants, he's not Lawrence Taylor. But that's not even my point. My point is, if he feels one way and he feels okay giving up that number 11, like Dan Beyer said, hey, man, that's really cool. That's really nice of him. But that doesn't mean that Lawrence Taylor's in the wrong for not wanting to.
No, of course.
It's like a total preference thing. Lawrence Taylor's like, nah, man, that's my number. No way. Make your own path. If Phil Simms wants to do that, that's on him, and I'm all for it. I'm surprised, though. I'm surprised to hear it.
Well, you know what?
I don't think there should be any pressure for these retired guys to give up their number.